Shut up. You don't get to say you told me so.
I told you so.
No, you didn't. Okay.
I told you so.
All right, everyone, welcome back to
Oh, crap.
Lake City Variety. I don't really care what episode this is.
I think this is
Episode
14.
42069.
Oh, we're there.
Yeah.
We've made it all the way.
To episode 42069-14.
What a great time to be alive.
Every episode is episode 42069.
Especially
dash whatever episode we were actually on.
when, for the second time, Paul has the recording volume at half strength.
It's
And
not there
so-
right. It's not doing that right now. This is different. That's not me. It's small because it's a 4K monitor outputting at 1080p. That's why they look small.
You know what they say? Cheers.
Cheers.
I'm
Levi's
drinking,
not feeling so good.
drinking a nice green tea with lavender in it.
Oh yeah. Very nice.
I know.
Um,
My throat's been killing me for the past week of my life.
we got a few more Patreon subscribers, which is great. Thank you. If you're
That's true.
interested in our Patreon, we have
You can
bonus
join a
episode.
growing crew of
Join
people,
a growing crew
honestly.
of people. Yeah, you'll get access to one extra episode a week and a backlog of like 8 or 9 episodes now.
Can we call them not patrons, but varietizers?
That's if you pay $25. I think it's average variety show enjoyer is $25.
Can we
'cause it's like
rename
lake,
them
it's
varietizers?
Lake swimmer is $5. City dweller is $10, and then like average variety show enjoyer is like $20. Which I did get a comment from one of our patrons. They're not funny. They're not witty in any way, shape, or form.
Oh,
Yeah.
our tiers. The comment was
the
about.
name,
that
the
our-
comment is about our anyway.
I think
I got a message
varietizers.
about that. So they're not funny. They're not witty in any sort of way. So it's really when naming things is super difficult because you have to come up with a name that you think people will be drawn to, but also is long lasting. Like you can't do something that's like, like not topical, but
Yeah, exactly.
like
So please.
you can't do like everyday things like modern, like not modern,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
like current events.
Timeless.
You
You have to do timeless.
come up with
things.
a timeless name. Like Timeless is in Backstreet Boys. That's
Go-
timeless.
Go to the
Rush,
YouTube comments
timeless.
right now.
Yeah,
Go to the Twitter. Go to the Instagrams. Go to the Patreons.
yeah.
Tell us what you want.
Also, there's a $1
tiers to
option
be
if you think $5 is a little too much, which that's okay. So
I think varietizers is a great.
yeah, I think we
Great
should
tier
call them
3.
the varietizers in general, not patrons. We should just call them the varietizers.
That's right, because
And
they
then-
crave variety.
Yeah. So anyway, we got more Patreon money. Patrice.
We got more Patrice money.
Patrice money.
Patrice Leone money.
Patrice Leone money.
Yeah.
And Elliot 3
I'm-
started talking about unionizing, and we just couldn't have that happen. So
Yeah.
Elliot, we are holding editions for Elliot 4. If you are interested, shoot us a DM on the Patreon, the patrice.com/Lake City Variety.
I know. It's, of course,
Just
we
know,
have quite a vacuum right now.
yeah, there is a vacuum. There is a hole in our hearts, and in Elliot 3's heart especially.
But I mean, this is 1950s United States.
Yeah.
Where when you start talking about unions, we say you're a commie, get boked, and
then we bring in
then we put
the
you in prison.
Union Crusher, who is definitely not a mob boss or anyone.
McCarthy?
No. I'm not talking about the representative or senator from Wisconsin. I'm talking about
Wait, he's from Wisconsin?
yes, he's he's a senator from Wisconsin,
Oh gosh.
which is just thank you for that. Have you no decency, sir? That's like a general yelled at McCarthy after he kept calling people communists for no reason. Which it's like, I also enjoy calling communists, or not communists. calling
they are
pe-
communists.
They
right?
are
If you
communists. No,
call
I
them
also
that.
enjoy calling people communists for no reason. Not because it's a bad thing anymore. Like, do whatever you want to do. I'm just not a communist because I'm all about that capitalism paycheck, baby. And not paying my taxes. I'm kidding, IRS. I know you're listening.
That's right, IRS. We can neither confirm nor deny any
No,
allegations.
IRS. We are paying our taxes.
Oh, if you didn't see that,
Don't
was.
don't worry about it.
I shouldn't tell them that you winked.
No, it's fine.
Okay, great.
Um,
Paul did not wink.
This is gonna be terrible. We keep doing visual bits for a show that has no visual. Like, we could do visual now. Oh,
they heard my wink.
We got as you know, I've had a couple PCs. I do all the editing and stuff like that. They heard my wink. They could hear it. My long lashes just blowing the wind towards the microphone, and it's just beautiful. But I do all of the editing, even when Levi says, I'll edit that out. He doesn't.
I'm going to edit that out.
Yeah, no, you're not. So I took some time over the past week researching and doing all sorts of stuff, and I was able to come up with a new computer that I was able to completely assemble with modern parts, including a GPU, which right now, yikes. I mean, it's not as bad as it was like maybe 3 or 4 months ago. But yikes. Like, don't
build right now.
Don't build right now. But also, like, I was able to build for cheaper than a pre-built, which I'm very proud of because I
mean, you can usually do that.
I was looking for deals, and I found my deals everywhere and was able to save a shekel or two.
That's so great. Sometimes it's just about that shekel, you know.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah, so I was able to shop around and really just save some money. It's really interesting now because I can output to like a decent picture quality, and it means our levels look bad, but they're not actually bad because I can hear myself right now, and it's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I was going to say, does your diamond guy talk like that?
It's been so long since I've actually like talked with him in person.
You don't know?
I think he's like halfway between that and just like normal English speaker, because he's not like from anywhere in Eastern Europe or anything like that.
Okay.
But I think his kids talk like just like actual New York people, which is really funny. And his kids work for him, but I think he's got, because like his parents were definitely that, and he has a hint of it.
Just a little.
I've definitely met those type of people who do talk like that, like real nasally, and just, just. Yeah, and it's a funny bit because you wouldn't think they'd lean into the stereotype, but I don't think they're leaning into it. They just happen to be Jewish, and that's how they talk. Because Yiddish is a very like nasally and throaty language. I think it's Yiddish, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what. That's the contemporary.
Well, because Yiddish
Jewish language
is like a mix between Hebrew and German, I think.
Possibly, or Aramaic and German.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't. It's been a long time since. I don't think Jews spoke Hebrew.
They haven't spoke Hebrew in a long time.
They
can read Hebrew because they have to read the Torah.
That's true.
That's which true. I found out. So for your bar mitzvah, we're just jumping all over the place. I built a PC. It works great.
I built a bar mitzvah. It works great.
It's 25 times faster than the last one.
And my bar mitzvah gets people to 25 times faster.
Yeah, I don't know if you can say that. Well, how old would they be? Like 6 months old? 7 months old or something like that?
But they're 15.
Hold on. I got to figure this out now.
Okay. Well, as Paul figures that out,
I got to do my math.
And does the calculator math.
I found that, or I heard that when you do your bar mitzvah, you read from the Torah and you like read to the church. It's like a way to demonstrate that you have like spent time looking at the heritage. And
you read to your synagogue?
You would be 7 months and like 10 days old.
Sick.
So, no, you did not find a way to make a baby a man.
Honey, I manned the baby.
You do not get to pick what section of the Torah you read.
So we can read Levitical holiness codes?
Yeah, no, like there
was
a guy
who's she is your mother.
Yeah.
Do not dishonor your mother by sleeping with your mother.
There was somebody who had to read that wife for their bar mitzvah.
That would be sick.
It'd be funny, especially in Hebrew.
Don't sleep with your mom.
Don't sleep with your mom. That's gay. I mean,
what? if it's gay, then it would be gay.
I don't know. Yeah, we're running on few. I don't know. This weekend was interesting. So I built my PC. I got a lot of the parts on Friday, everything except for the graphics card.
Yeah.
And then I was able to snag the graphics card on Saturday.
Okay.
By driving 5 hours straight there and back.
Are you kidding me? Did you go to the cities?
Yeah, I did. Yes, I did.
Wait, to
like to South? No, not to Micro Center.
Okay, not to
No,
Micro Center.
They didn't even have like a 6900 XT in stock,
Correct.
which is $1,000 graphics card MSRP.
However, Micro Center, if you want to sponsor us, please
honestly,
sponsor
Micro Center,
us.
please, I would love to.
I would take a
like. Don't even
card.
give us like CPU parts. Just like we'll give you more shout outs and stuff like that. I think.
Dude, give me a discount.
Or that's cool too. But yeah, I was able to like snag everything and got everything for. Because I got a bunch of deals and stuff, I built my computer for MSRP, which is not something people can say right now.
Yeah.
Considering graphics cards are like going for $800
Which
when they're worth like $450.
Way too much.
It's too much money.
But I'm sure.
So Saturday night, I'm building this thing, running my cable management.
Yep.
And then like completely, not yet Saturday, but Sunday, I did all my cable management in the office.
Okay.
And like making my umbilical cord running from our studio.
It's a pretty sick umbilical cord.
This from the studio where we're recording right now to the office. It's very funny because it's just this like 25-foot long run of cable. It is
like
actually
HDMI,
25 feet
Ethernet.
long. I did because I bought the long stuff. So it's just like running down my hallway.
Oh yeah.
And like around my door and then above my door frame so you don't trip on it. And it's really funny. But it's the best way I found to do this before we have actual studio stuff, because we don't have that many patrons.
We have some.
So anyway, Saturday night I'm up late anyway, getting this thing done, just making sure it's working, reinstalling Windows for the third time because I could not get it to stay on the M.2 drive that I bought because it kept installing to the hard drive, even though I didn't select the hard drive, and sometimes I would unplug the hard drive.
Oh, it'd go to your
only have the M.2 drive in there.
It would go to your 2 terabyte
do a
hard
most
drive.
do a most
Gosh
like
darn it.
do like a mostly setup thing of it where it's like pretty much ready to go.
Yeah.
Plug in the hard drive and then there's like system files that you cannot delete or repartition on that hard drive, and it's like, are you kidding me? So it's like completely wiping drives, and then like I figured it out. It turned out to be pretty easy, and then like the boot system, it took me a minute because I have never built a PC before, so it like took a while for me to just kind of like make sure I got everything right.
Yeah.
And now it's working like perfectly. Like I said, 25 times faster than the last editing rig we had.
Which is saying something.
Yeah, which is saying something when I can now go and like render a video in 5 minutes instead of an hour and 15 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's super sick.
It used to take just as long as the video was to render the video.
Dude, this weekend I completely unlocked Hebrew in my mental space, and so I actually, as I sat down and looked at the Torah, I truly understood how to do the bar mitzvah the best that I possibly could. I'm
not quite.
And
done
I
here
can
yet.
actually do it 25 times faster.
Okay.
You don't understand.
I got Greek here. How about that?
You can't bar mitzvah in Greek.
You can't. You're right.
You could at tu brute. That's Latin.
Anyway,
I apologize.
I don't know how I didn't notice this, but apparently some people in my neighborhood decided to get just completely lit up with all of the things. I don't know what they did. I do know what my wife and I woke up to on Sunday morning to go outside and see.
Oh, glass everywhere?
Glass everywhere around my car, and
Oh.
someone threw up on my trunk.
No.
That's just 2 piles of pink puke
That's
on my
terrible.
trunk. Glass everywhere on my car. That one spot where there's all that glass, that's where I was parked.
Oh.
And I'm like, I'm glad I didn't blow a tire or anything.
Oh.
But it was just like it's like we're trying to go to church and we got like 6 minutes to get there.
That's
It's
terrible.
we could have taken my wife's car, but at that point we're just like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Scrape it off with whatever. Maybe we'll find a car wash on the way home. And it was like embarrassing because we went to a church we hadn't been to before.
Yeah.
And it was just like, come on, guys.
That's ridiculous.
Why?
Dude.
Like, I get
Some
smashing
people
bottles.
actually-
Why would you do that? Because there's more than one bottle there.
Okay.
I looked. There's like 3 different labels on the ground.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
bottle glass there.
And so just crap everywhere. But it's like, the grass is right there. Why did you? You must have just like leaned against my car and threw up on my trunk. I don't get it.
And you were so turned, you just broke the glass. I was like, you remember those good old days? Like, you rode the bus. I rode the bus.
Oh, of course
too.
I rode the bus, yeah.
I mean, like...
I learned every word I could ever use or need on the bus.
Well, that's a statement.
The words you shouldn't say to anyone, as my mom refers to them.
Yeah.
Where'd you learn them bus words?
She called them bus words?
She calls them bus words.
That's hilarious.
Because, my wife's family calls them barn words. Because they're all dairy farmers.
Working on the barn.
Yeah, so you're working on the barn, and cows do not like to follow directions nicely.
Yeah.
And so you have to motivate them with whatever words or stick you have handy. Yeah. No, there's like
that works. That works.
No, sometimes you gotta like get a
there.
stick and like poke them in the back of the legs, because they don't like it if you poke like in their calf or like the equivalent of a calf on a cow. Not
calf
don't
on
poke
a calf?
don't poke their baby.
Poke the calf on the calf.
Don't poke the calf on the calf. So just kind of like give a nice whack.
Don't poke the calf.
Not
baby.
like really hard, but like a good like a little thunk.
Yeah, just
like
give him a
right
little bit
here on this
give 'em a
tendon.
love tap.
On this tendon right here, with like a stick.
Yeah, they're like
and they'll get
Achilles
moving.
heel.
Oh yes, they'll get moving.
I was gonna say though. So speaking about the bus, and broken glass.
Okay.
Well, I brought up the bus part. The
Yeah.
broken glass part I'm thinking of because we were talking about broken glass.
Okay, yeah.
Way back in the bright old age of me being in like middle school.
Okay, yeah.
We're waiting for the bus, and it's like whatever,
Yeah.
I think like 4th grade, I think I started riding the bus.
Okay.
And then probably like around 5th, 6th grade, we moved to a different house, and we were still riding the bus. And so, I got to know some people or whatever, but it was one winter, probably like the first winter.
Yeah.
And this was the beginning of like, basically the place that our bus met to get picked up in moved a whole block.
Oh,
because
I mean, like a block isn't too bad, but
it's not too bad. But here's why. And the first place that we were meeting, it was like the winter of this first year of meeting for like riding the bus.
Yeah.
And I found a glass bottle.
Okay.
And I just threw it on this guy. Like I just threw it onto this guy's sidewalk, and it shattered. And it was sick. I'm like in 5th grade. Like, I feel a little bit bad because, like, I care.
Yeah.
But also, like, I did it, so I didn't care.
So I didn't.
Like, I didn't care enough to, like, think not to do it.
Yeah, to, like, actually put the thought through, like, is this a good idea?
I just threw it on the ground. And, I didn't really think too much about it after that moment, except for the fact that, like, a few weeks later, we started meeting at the end of the block as opposed to in front of that guy's house.
Oh, and so he must have just called the school real mad about a kid smashing a bottle.
And
it's not like the school doesn't know who lives there and would go to that bus stop and narrow it down to like the 3 or 4 of you.
Yeah. And so, although technically I don't think we could ride the bus at all, at least for the school that I was going to, we were too close.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We were like literally half a block away from being far enough. And so my parents always threw us on the bus.
So you had to like walk like the 3 or 4 blocks or whatever.
I mean, we were literally half a block away from the bus stop.
Yeah, but like how far from the school were you?
We were like half a block too close to the school to ride the bus.
Yeah, but how too close to the school is that?
Like just under a mile probably.
Like, that makes sense. I
mean,
you also grew up in like a tiny town though, right?
Yeah. So 13,000.
I mean, which is like 300 people more than my hometown.
Okay. Yeah.
So 13,000 or 1,300?
Oh, 13,000.
Oh, sorry. That's
we're like 10 times
13
larger than your
13
hometown.
times the size of my hometown. Not 300 people more. 13 times the size.
13 times the size.
So like 1,300. I understand that because they're like ride a bike.
Yeah. Or like
they don't have the resources.
Parents can drive them.
Yeah. Which no, they can't.
No, they can't.
No, they can't.
No.
They don't want to anyway.
And so, like, technically, it was not kosher for me to ride the bus, but no one ever looked into it, and so we would ride the bus. But we moved to the end of the block, and then, like, over the course of the next year, we ended up moving to, like, in front of this guy's house. Like, one of my friend's houses.
Yeah.
And then he got into the wrong crowd, and, I didn't really spend too much time after that with him. But he was a cool guy. I liked him a lot. His name was Noah, I think.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear that news story about the guy that was sick of kids going on his lawn because the bus stop was on the corner that his house was on? So he put up an electric fence around his house, and he posted a sign on a tree that said "No trespassing." And then a kid, like, because they would always hang out on his lawn on the grass instead of on the sidewalk, which is like, yeah, they're kids, they should go on the grass, but like if you told them to stay off,
they're gonna stay on.
Yeah, they're gonna stay on. So he put up an electric, like a cattle fence, which I've touched cattle fences.
Yeah,
they're not that bad. Like, they're not meant to harm animals. They are shocking. It is surprising when you touch them.
Yep.
It's not going to kill you. But a kid grabbed onto the electric fence because he was going to hop over it to hang out on the grass.
Yeah.
And he got a nice zap from it. And so all these parents are complaining. And he's like, no, like, I told them to stay off my lawn. They didn't. So I put up an electric fence with a sign that says no, or keep off my lawn.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
That's a big move.
That's a huge move. I don't know if I've talked about this before or not, but it's like, that's a move where it's like, I can understand the thought process because if I would also go through that same exact thought process, but is that okay?
But they're also kids.
They're also kids, so like they're not going to listen anyway. So
and like.
And it's like at that
point,
has
the miser in you grown? Well, because it's like so large.
You call this. If you call the school, my thought is like, if I call the school, what are they going to do? Say, sorry, we can't do anything about that. It's the bus stop. It's like they're not going to move the bus stop for them just being on my lawn.
Yeah.
But they probably will move it if if I'm like not terrible, but it's like
if I put an electric fence up.
Well, if it's like a no trespassing sign, and what's the best deterrent that I can get on hand for $50?
Yeah.
Like an electric fence is $50. It's not that much money.
That's crazy to think, though.
That what, you can just buy an electric fence for $50?
Yeah.
I should just put one around my car so people don't throw up on it anymore.
Well, then they might throw glass on it.
Yeah. They probably already did. Well, my car's dented enough where it doesn't, like, I couldn't tell if it was new glass or dents or not.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway. Yeah, so he got, like, the police called on him because the parents were all upset that he put an electric fence. But they're like, the police were like, it's unacceptable for him to have the electric fence in town, but he did ask them to stop, and he put up a no trespassing sign.
Yeah.
So, like, technically he's fine legally. We just have to have him take down the fence. Mm-hmm. And then the parents, like, petitioned to have the bus stop moved.
Yeah, that would get the bus stop
That would get the bus stop moved. So technically he won, but now all of his neighbors hate him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
like that's a burn a bridge move.
Oh, yeah.
There.
That's
such
like
a burn a bridge
It's
move.
like, yeah, you just don't get to any interaction, especially if you live in, like, a cul-de-sac like he did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that's 100% a burn a bridge move.
I experienced a burn a bridge move this past weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was telling you a little bit about it
Yeah,
earlier.
you were just a little bit, so.
So
I mean, just like how Elliot 3 decided to burn the bridge that is the trust between podcast hosts.
And by creating the divide of, what are they called? Unions.
Yeah, unions.
Don't unionize.
We sent in Levi,
America.
the union buster.
Well, you know what they say. But anyways, so we had our big, like, work retreat.
Yeah.
This past weekend. Well, I'm a pastor of college students, so.
Yeah. Work retreat really just means I get to go hang out at a camp for a couple days.
Are you kidding? Do not. I was on all. Paul, you don't understand.
I'm making fun of you.
I know.
I'm allowed
to
make fun of you.
Please make fun of me. I mixed sound all weekend. I have actually had an 80-hour work week this past week, which is nuts. So.
Was that cook lady there? The one that?
Oh, Sissy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dang. You should have told me because I would have told you to say hi for me.
Dude.
Because I used to go I would pay to go there and then hang out early, like wake up early to go cook with her. Because everyone was supposed to take a shift.
Yeah.
For the work retreat. But I'd go and just cook breakfast.
Cook every meal.
Every meal anyway, because it's dude, might as well.
You should have come. I should have thought to ask you.
You should have told me.
I mean,
clearly I was busy.
Yeah.
But I probably would have made time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway.
I didn't think.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways.
It's okay.
But so we got there early on Friday and began our worship practice because I mixed the sound.
Yep.
And so I was just ambiently present and EQing voices and stuff.
Yep.
And I started to pick up on these small conversations between the drummer and the rest of the worship team. And the drummer's a kind of someone who hadn't really played with us before. And it was one of like Laura. I think one of Laura's like work friends, or not work friends, but like she plays worship like not professionally, but like
for a
she's
good,
and so she'll like play with different teams and stuff, and so she knows people. And she asked this drummer to be.
She's got them.
Like she has those connections.
She has those connections.
You get those. You got the nice connections.
She's got a book full of names and numbers.
Mm-hmm. And so,
but it's not a little black book. So
it's like an address book.
No, do you know what the little black book is?
Like the Death Note book?
No, it's like the numbers of all the girls that you would.
Oh gosh!
Not that you would, but that you have.
Oh god. All right.
So she does not have one of those.
No, she does not have one of those.
She's got connections. And
she has some
contacts with people.
And so she'd asked this person to be on the team for Friday night.
Do you want to drop his name just so you can shame him publicly?
Do I know his name?
Like, can we shame him publicly?
I don't know if I actually. I think I've forgotten his name.
Oh, I mean,
which is
such a lasting impact this man has had.
I know
that like his
that
name.
I have decreed that I would forget your name. Wow. Can you imagine being so cruel that as I begin to spoil the ending of this tale?
Anyway, keep going. Just go.
That I would forget your name. But so I'm actually not super bitter. Like what happened was actually like it happened, and then it was actually really good because he left, right? So it spoiled the ending. So he has this like kind of interaction where he's like, yeah, I'm just like, this is me talking in his voice. Like he said something along the lines of like, yeah, I'm just like, what did he say? Like, you guys should really like, I mean, if you're gonna like, you guys should really mic the drums. Like, if you're gonna do anything, like, you can't just half mic it, like, mic the kick. Like, you gotta mic the whole drum set.
Here's the thing. Here, from my memory of this setup for this work retreat that I've been to a few times, it's not like you're bringing electric drums or even like semi-electric, like the hybrids.
A cage. Like we don't have a cage.
You don't bring a cage. There's no plexiglass thing or nothing, and it's not a big space.
Yeah.
Like you could probably go outside into the entryway and still feel the kick of drums.
Yeah. Like it's
not a huge space. And there's no sound blocker. So it's like, for him to say, let's kick the drums, is to me go, yeah, I think I need more mic. Maybe you should turn mine up a little bit. I don't think you can really hear me across the room. Yeah, there we go. Let's turn that up to there.
All right.
Yeah. So
but, I mean, like, he had, like, outside of it, like, in a vacuum, he had a really fair point. Like, if the drummer is going to know how loud his instrument is compared to all of the other instruments that are playing.
Yeah.
Like, it should be, in a cage, and it should be mic'd, right?
Yep.
Like, in an ideal sense.
In a cage and mic'd. However, no cage.
We don't have a cage.
And it's like...
And we only have the kick
The only thing
mic'd.
for him is that he can't, like, put on his headphones or put in his monitors.
Yeah.
To, like, feel how he is compared to the other people around him.
And so, like...
Which is fair, but if you are a good enough drummer, you can kind of pick that up without that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
It's like it's annoying to do and it's difficult to do, but you can get there.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
And so he's like, he says this and he's being like a bit of a prick,
Yeah.
And you can tell he's like pretty frustrated, and you can tell like this guy's actually like, I mean, he's like, yeah, I'm like a professional, like he like works like 4 to 6 days a week in professional
doing music and like
so
paid.
like he has a standard of how he likes things or like how he usually does things, and so but he's being a prick about it, and so like we have that interaction, we keep going, and then he kind of butts in one more time, and I only remember these 2 conversations, but he was like, yeah, I just like really have felt like that, like we've had like no direction the whole time, and I'm really confused, and like I don't even know what's happening half the time, and
oh man,
like Laura, like the person who's leading the team, Laura,
her name is Laura. She's really nice.
Like she's super nice. Her. We like Laura. She's
I took
like
Spanish with
super
her.
attacked and demoralized.
This is
by
blonde Laura, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I took Spanish with her. She was great.
She's an amazing person.
Yeah,
and she's super demoralized and attacked by this. Like she's 23. Like, this guy's like a 40-year-old man who does music professionally, and he's being a dick. And
which, I mean, yes, he's a professional musician, but he does like gigs.
But you're doing worship. for a retreat.
You're doing
where
like
people are supposed to be super spiritual and stuff. You know, like
we get it's not going to be ideal. You're also like in the middle of the woods, and if you needed equipment, like if you really had to pick up a piece of equipment, someone's driving 3 hours.
Oh yeah.
So it's like you gotta understand where you are for this kind of gig. And it's like we have all the equipment we have, and if we needed more mics, someone is driving 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like it's whatever, and you know, I think he like when they prayed, like he like had like a really condemning prayer too, or like he like something. My speculative sense is that something else was going on in his life, you know, to aggravate everything.
It was probably that he's still only doing gigs and he's 40.
Yeah.
And that he hasn't been picked up by a group to do like tours and stuff. And he kind of feels bad about that. And then he looks at other drummers on YouTube and stuff and sees how well they're doing. Like my favorite Australian drummer, Dank Pods.
Thanks, Dank Pods.
Thank you, Dank Pods,
for
being
this up.
Amazing.
And
anyway.
It's like not to we shouldn't speculate too much because
I've never met this guy in my life, and I
I'll
wasn't
never
there.
See him again
I just get to make fun of it
too.
because I have any amount of social media standing now.
Yeah.
Not even like social media, but I have any amount of an audience, and me making fun of someone is really fun for me.
And so like you know, we wrap up
which
the
really
set.
tells about who I am as a person. Anyway.
Yeah, so we wrap up the practice set and we go, and like as Paul kind of alluded, we go to the cook and eat the delicious food.
Oh, like homemade bread every day.
It was
amazing. Scratch pancakes.
It was very good.
A lot of donated like sausage and bacon and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
good. So we're like halfway through like supper, and I'm like, and all of a sudden I see, you know, just a bunch of people get up and leave, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? Yeah. And like I kind of pulled together that, I mean, like what ended up happening was like Tony and Grace saw this guy like with carrying his stuff to his car, and he drives away.
Yeah.
And I have not had a moment in my life in a very long time where someone has just straight up picked up everything and left when they had a key role and were needed, right?
Yep.
And so like, and actually like, so he leaves and we're all like emotionally distraught and trying to deal with it, but also we have to go on in 45 minutes and do worship.
It's like, what do we do? Do we call him, or do we give him space, or like, what do we do?
Oh, like we straight up mic'd a cajon, and it was actually significantly better, I think, than his performance. Did you put
Kyle on the cajon?
We put Gabe on the cajon. Kyle's, you know, down in the
right.
big
He's
cities.
Working. Yeah, he's working.
He
got married too, so
he got married as well.
Shout out to Kyle, whose
full name
we've definitely never said. I don't think that went through. I really don't.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I think maybe it did a little bit, but from what I remember listening to, I don't think, because I remember beeping his full name.
Okay.
Because I did beep it.
So then, who knows?
So if his full name is out there, it was a couple episodes ago.
And deep apologies.
And we're sorry, Kyle. We do like you. I miss hanging out with Kyle a lot because he was like one of the guys. One of the first guys I met.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Kyle's
so yeah,
really
you mic'd a cajon, put Gabe on it.
Put Gabe on it, and it was spectacular. And then he also played cajon for the next morning as well.
Which miking a cajon makes more sense than miking drums without a screen.
Yeah.
Because
and we only mic the kick usually anyways. And so
yeah.
But then we had usually we've had this guy named Adam play drums for our regular large group night.
Yeah.
And he's also a 40-year-old man, also, you know, drums. Maybe not professionally, but he's drummed for a long time.
Yeah, long enough where he's pretty good.
Oh, he's very good.
Yeah.
You know, and he's played with our team before, and he knows everybody. And not only that, but he's the biggest bro of all time.
Is he a dude bro?
He's a dude bro.
Dude. Heck yeah.
He'll show up late to large group practice, and he'll bring a bunch of bubbler, which if you don't know what bubbler is, it's one of the greatest beverages known to man. And when I say that fully knowing that I sound like a middle-aged mom when I say that, because it's just
you do.
It's just a sparkling water with caffeine in it. Basically.
Yeah, you not only sound like a middle-aged mom, but a girl I used to date.
And not only that, but he also like showed us. He has a sick tattoo like just above his heart of like
another heart.
No. Not his heart. Heart's on the left side, on his like right breast of 3 nails, which is super sick.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
And I mean symbolic because of Jesus took 3 nails, right?
Yep.
And so, like, nicest guy imaginable. Like, you know, like just like the stark contrast between drummers that exist in this world. And so
you gotta find a nice mix between dickhead and like late but excusable.
Oh, I mean, like the fact that he's late doesn't matter too much because like he's just so good at what he does, and
it is annoying to be part of a group and have someone late.
It's true. It's very true.
Yeah, especially when like there's an agreed upon time for when we are doing a thing.
But I mean, if
which has never
works
happened
or like
never happened before, so don't worry about it.
So it was a very good retreat weekend.
Yeah, cool.
And I saw both the highs, the deepest.
Did anyone jump in the lake?
The deepest eddies and for baptisms.
I mean, like, other than that, because there's always 3 people in swimsuits at the end of the dock, staring at it, going, "Do we actually jump in or do we not?" Because it's October.
If someone did, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because like,
I suppose you were busy most of the time.
To give you a cut, I was like busy. Like you had
stuff to do.
I probably had
and then practice and then teaching, right?
Like an hour of free time on Saturday,
which is no time considering.
And then
an
hour,
like 2 hours,
an hour in the evening or whatever.
Yeah.
And I had no free time on Friday, and then after stuff, I just went right to bed basically, because I was exhausted. Like, dude.
Yeah.
When you pull a 16-hour day on Thursday and then go into a retreat weekend,
that's a lot.
You gotta sleep. And I went and slept.
Yeah, I went to work early on Friday.
Did you go home early?
Oh yeah,
nice.
Like 45 minutes before I normally do. Technically, an hour and 15 minutes before I normally do.
Nice.
Because I skipped lunch too. And then I sat in that couch that's right next to you. That one.
Okay.
And stared at my phone, refreshing when the parts delivery was coming.
Oh yeah.
And just watching.
Do you like express ship everything?
No, I just have Amazon Prime.
Oh, so it just comes.
It just comes.
Nice.
Amazon Prime unfortunately does not take 2 days, or takes more than 2 days where we live, because unfortunately we are far away from a fulfillment center. Yep. Sorry to distract from the wonderful spiritual conversation that you guys are having, but
we're doing great.
I mean, it's like, I have Amazon Prime. This item has Prime shipping. 4 days. It's going to take
85 days.
Which is not as bad as like living in Alaska and ordering something on Prime and it taking like 3 weeks.
But I mean, like,
it is annoying when it's like, oh man, technically I should order this on Saturday because it'll be here on Monday before we record the podcast, and we need it so we can record the podcast better.
Mm-hmm.
And it's here like Wednesday.
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
Yeah.
Or like, I'm thinking, like, my mind is brought right to Hawaii right now.
Yeah.
Like, I had a friend once. Oh gosh, now I'm remembering something. I used to work at, the Boy Scout camp.
Yeah.
Long-time listener to the show, no.
Yeah.
From camp episode.
Episode 3.
And this guy was our program director.
Dang, we've already done 11 more than that
episode. I know.
It makes you think, because we've been doing this for 3.5 months, technically.
As we're almost 4 months in.
Yeah.
And like...
Oh, man. Shoot. Holy cow. Sorry.
No, you're good. I'm trying to remember.
Hit for a second.
I'm trying to remember how to tell this story.
But while you're remembering how to tell that story, I got something even funnier.
Okay.
So, you know how there's like a global shipping issue right now where like things are just piling up at ports because either ports are at not full capacity or people just don't want to go back to work.
Okay.
And so they don't have people to drive trucks. Like I've had to deal with a couple of issues where there are trucking companies that are supposed to pick up like waste oil from our company.
Yeah.
And cart it off. They cannot find drivers. They're like, they have
you just have waste oil.
Yeah, so we just have like thousands of gallons.
Oh my gosh.
Like several tons of waste oil that we cannot get rid of. And then like we had to contract another company to like come and get it because this first company, like we're like, we just don't have anyone to drive. So like there's like these shipping docks that what they do is the shipping containers get there and they go on the stack of all the other shipping containers that are there.
Yeah.
And then the ones that are on top can be dealt with at a time, but the ones on the bottom just keep getting further and further down the pile.
Yeah, that
because
sucks.
They just don't have anyone who can move them.
Yeah, that sucks.
Even if they had like 4 shifts.
Oh my gosh.
So the company I work for, its parent organization has found the most delicious way and fantastic way of getting our things shipped and on time.
I'm ready for it.
Out of all the things that are shipped, which things do you think have priority?
Things that get shipped?
Yeah, yep. Of all the things that get shipped, knowing where I work without really saying where I work.
Yeah.
What things have priority?
Tires?
No.
Does it have something to do with like a car?
Refrigerated goods have priority.
What?
Yes. So
because you juice up the people who wait, right?
So like, well, yeah. So like refrigerated goods, because like refrigerated goods mean that they will spoil.
Oh yeah. Okay.
If they're sitting.
I see. Yep.
So what my parent company has been doing is refrigerating blocks of metal that sometimes have pistons in them, and are shipping them in fridges, not like Samsung fridges or like LG fridges, but like refrigerated shipping units. Because they have to get dealt with. They have to get dealt with because they have priority shipping.
So the thing is, it's engines.
Yes, like they're freezing motor oil.
This is the dumbest workaround I've heard in my whole life.
And it's like, because they're also like buying or chartering their own ships where only their own goods are being put on it, and they're putting cooling units on those ships and calling everything on those ships refrigerated.
Yeah.
Which whoever found the loophole where a refrigerated good is not a perishable good is a champion and deserves a raise.
I know.
And
honestly, I can
whoever
imagine
wrote that loophole into the law is awesome.
I can imagine in like 30 years, every shipping container is refrigerated.
It's refrigerated because
they have priority.
Yeah, and then nothing has priority, and then it's all like. But how cool is it that that's like
the biggest waste of energy we're just imaginable is created.
Cooling engine blocks and tires and like door panels. They're freezing door panels to send them over.
Oh gosh. Just the whole world is crushed.
It's so funny though that's the workaround they found.
And so, talking about shipping.
Yeah.
Hawaii exists in like the strangest environment, as it's like a desirable place to live, right? Or people live there. And also,
you put have that in quotation mark? No one actually lives there.
Oh yeah, no one actually
Hawaii
lives
there.
Hawaii is
not real, folks.
Imaginary.
Yeah.
But if it was not imaginary, you'd have to ship everything to Hawaii. You'd have to ship gas, you'd have to ship milk, you'd have to ship meat.
Yep.
Like you have to ship everything. And so like this guy who used to be the program director of our camp lived in Hawaii for like quite a number of years as like a researcher scientist guy trying to make like a fuel out of like algae. Or like
that biofuel?
Trying to make like
a
biodiesel
made out of algae?
Yeah.
That's a cool thing.
And they didn't succeed at all.
Yeah.
Like it was not energy like efficient in the slightest.
It takes like 5 times as much at that time, like 10, 15 years ago. It took like 5 times as much energy to produce it as it would produce when you burned it.
Yeah.
And it was like not viable in any way, shape, or form.
You would spend $20, $25, $30 on a gallon.
Yeah, $30 a gallon.
As opposed to spending like $15 for a gallon of gas or whatever it is.
In Hawaii.
And so...
Oh, man. Imagine.
But he did research for that. And he also likes Spam. Like if you live in Hawaii.
If you live in Hawaii and
you
can
go to your local McDonald's.
I love seafood, rice, and canned ham. That's not really ham.
It used to be something like ham.
Have you been to have you been to the Spam Museum?
I have not. My sister lives
in the Spam Museum. She lives in the
She doesn't live in the Spam Museum.
In the Spam Museum, that big one you can walk in. That's awesome.
She lives there. And the funny part is she hates Spam.
But she lives in the Spam Museum.
And her school's like mascot is a packer, which is hilarious. Yeah.
I like how a lot of people don't know that the Green Bay Packers are named that because it was a meat packer.
Yep.
And it was like meat packers that would like play football together.
And then they became international sports team. Just regular national sports team.
Just regular national, unless they play Mexico or Canada. Which Wait,
do they have American Canadian football there?
I think there's Canadian football, which
That's
uses
different.
I think
American
it uses like
football.
the meter standard, doesn't it? And then it has a few
different rules.
different rules in weird ways. I don't get it. And their field goal is like shorter but wider, I think.
Interesting.
It's changed but in weird ways. Where it's like it's still technically football. You could take someone from Canada who grew up playing Canadian football, put them in the United States, and they could figure it out, and vice versa.
But it's just slightly different.
It's
like
so
almost
slightly
like
different, like enough to the point where it's like if you're playing at a professional level, you'd get fouled or like foul for some reason that you're like to you is a dumb reason, but like is a rule change
but to
that matters.
You know, the Canadians or Americans that grew up doing that.
And so, like, it's like a weird little technical things. It's weird. It's just different. Anyway, yeah. So she lives in the Spam Factory. She hates Spam.
She does live in the Spam Factory. Hates Spam.
Yeah.
And she's where I got this awful cough from. So.
Oh, we can just name.
Actually, no. It's my family that I got the cough from. She also picked up the cough.
What did your family do? Hawk loogies in your tea or something? What?
No, like literally we went to Valley Fair. If
I saw those pictures, yeah.
And they drank out of my water bottle. And I also drank out of my water bottle.
So Carly looked at the picture that you put on Facebook and was like, you look exactly like your dad.
I do look. If you look
it's pretty close. It's not exactly. It's like a good 80% though.
If you look at all my siblings and my mom, we all have the same face. And if you look at like me and my dad next to each other, we look like each other.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun actually.
It is kind of funny because I look nothing like my dad.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if have you seen a picture of my dad?
I haven't. I don't think.
Yeah. My dad's also 6 inches shorter than me.
Wait, what pictures were on Facebook? Did you also see one of the greatest pictures I've taken in a long time?
No.
You possibly did. It was on Snapchat. Here.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's really funny. It's like Valley Fair had this like kind of take a picture.
There's my brother, my mom, and I.
Like take a picture spooky.
We all we look like my mom.
Oh yeah, I can see it. Like that face shape.
Yep.
Valley Fair had this like picture.
That's my dad.
Picture.
Like you look more like my dad than I do.
I'll wear it as a badge of honor.
Because you have the same goatee and glasses as my dad.
I
do have the same like weird hairline in the front.
I am your brother.
Are you? I mean,
I have been the whole time.
Technically. Let me just pull up my favorite video of Levi real quick.
I was going to say, before we pull up the video, that Valley Fair had this like Halloween-y booth of like a door with chains on it.
Yeah.
And so the picture that I showed Paul was me grabbing those chains and looking terrified. And it turned out really well.
Nice. Let's see here.
As you saw.
Yeah, as I did see.
We could actually probably post that on Patreon if we wanted.
If you want to, that's up to you.
I'll send it to you. You can edit out. I mean, like it's from my brother has like a private Snapchat group called Levi Sightings. And so when he sees me, he'll like Snapchat story.
Yeah.
The Levi Sightings people.
You ready?
All right, I'm ready for this video.
I love carbs.
For any of you who cannot hear this, it is Levi, I believe 4 years ago. Like when we first met, like when
quite a long time ago.
When like the three boys, when the podcast boys originally met.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
I love carbs.
And I don't remember who I sent that to. Or why because you said that just in conversation.
Yeah.
And I thought it was hilarious.
It was originally based off of, there's an old Oprah ad where she's trying to sell this like bread company or something.
Yeah.
And so she's like in her Oprah voice, like, I love bread.
Wait, did you think that Oprah sounds?
I don't know, like she has like a deeper smoky timbre, but also sounds like a woman, and I can't do both of those things. So I tried to do the deepy.
Don't ask me to do Oprah right now.
Timbre.
Yeah, but
that's what it's inspired by.
Yeah,
because I actually do love carbs.
Yeah,
as everybody does, because our brains are addicted to carbs. Just so you know.
Speaking of addiction, no,
no.
My coworker, Corey, listener of the show. You're welcome, Corey. The shout out you've been asking for.
Wait, that Corey?
Corey, I think it's that one.
Oh dang.
So shout out to Corey. He had an ear infection that like popped his ear.
Shout out to Corey.
And oh wait, yeah, that is him. Okay. Cool. Yeah, so anyway, he had an ear infection that like blew up his ear and like popped and ruptured. And a couple days later, he came in to work on so many drugs.
Yeah.
Because like painkillers and like stuff like that, cuz like he can't hear out of his left ear.
Mm-hmm.
But it was so entertaining to walk into his office and then just have him like blather on about stuff and then just completely ignore him, because it was me and a few other people that had to go in there for a couple of different reasons, like to pick up some items. He handles our incoming shipments.
Okay,
and stuff.
Yeah. The refrigerated shipments.
They're not, when they're in the States, they're not refrigerated. When they're on shipping containers, they are. Just refrigerated trucks pulling up. Anyway.
Just Whole Foods. It's just engine
parts. It says Whole Foods and it's engine parts. Just drivetrains. Windshields and stuff. Anyway, so he handles incoming shipments and things like that. And so we all had to go in there, and I had to ask him a couple questions, but the other people had to go in there to pick up their orders.
Yeah.
And where he's just like we're asking questions, and then he is just going nuts, just speaking nonsense.
Because he's on so much drugs.
He's on so many drugs, and we just start ignoring him and talking about him while he's there. He's just sitting in his chair, spinning around, going, woo! Woo!
That's so bad.
Well, like,
I mean, he's, and
he's like, he has to like drive home, and it's like, do not get pulled over, Corey. You're gonna lose your license forever the second you get pulled over.
He shouldn't be at work.
He has to cross the bridge on his drive home.
Oh gosh. Why didn't you just say go? Don't come in.
Because I mean, he kind of has to come in.
Yeah.
He is very necessary.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I think he just wanted to.
That's right.
I think he was given the option to go home, but he just was like, "No, I need to make sure my kids can go to daycare."
Yeah.
So, because it's not like he was in any condition to watch them at home. Anyway, Corey, I talked to him about this earlier this week, or last week. But yeah, it was so funny to just watch him just spin.
Woo!
Yeah. So, yeah, maybe after he gets his surgery next week, he'll be able to hear us.
No.
We got to fill 7 minutes. Can you know how to fill 7 minutes?
All right,
this podcast is really just we're missing a third and a third brain. Like we're down to like 4 brain cells, and Levi has 3 of them.
Oh, hey everybody! Welcome to the end of the end segment. This is our last segment that we've ever actually done.
Our first last
segment. In the world of sports, I believe the Vikings got absolutely trashed this weekend. So trashed.
Yeah.
Absolutely trashed. However, I did get free pizza because of them playing a game, and I deeply enjoy and appreciate that. In other news, the place that I got free pizza at, some small town in unnamed state location, had you upcharge for fries to change it from chips to fries. Not worth the upcharge.
Really?
Yep. You had to spend $2 to get fries.
And it wasn't worth it?
It wasn't worth the upcharge.
The fries were that bad?
I mean, they were average fries, but like I would have spent the amount that it was originally worth to get the burger and fries. In other news, what Disney thinks I'm paying $69 a year for? Disney Plus. What I'm actually paying them $69 a year for? The Mandalorian and Clone Wars. It's actually really
That's
true.
actually true.
It's actually really true.
And now Visions. Visions.
And
did
now
you finish Visions?
I did finish Visions today.
What'd you think? Today?
I hit a fat Papa Murphy's pizza for lunch and supper.
Nice.
Very good.
I forgot my pizza in the refrigerator at home today, and so I got to work and I was like, "Oh no!
Oh, you forgot the lunch.
I forgot my lunch.
That's sad."
And then one of the guys that came in, ordered something, but I was just like, "Man," I was like, "Nah, that looks good, but I forgot my lunch. So I don't know if I should order something or not."
Mm-hmm.
He was like, "Oh, well, you could just have my sandwich that I packed this morning,
dude."
And he packed a lunch, but then he just didn't want it. So
that's sick.
So I got like a nice turkey and pepper jack and lettuce sandwich with some mayo. So anyway, thanks, Brad. Appreciate it.
You're a good bro, Brad.
Yeah, Brad.
In other news, there's this strange company in China that is going under, just like the company in the 2008 financial crisis.
Oh, yeah.
Or at least people are comparing it to it.
Is it just the Chinese government? Is that the
company
company
you're talking?
Oh, okay.
It's like in the United States, like financial investing and stuff.
Yeah.
It was like one of those companies that went under, right? Yeah. In China, like the only thing you can really invest in is property.
Yep.
And it's this like property construction company.
Yeah.
And what they do is, people give them money, and then they go and lease land from the Chinese government, build stuff. People get their money back from the investment. More people invest. They buy more land. It works pretty well.
Because it's like they have a stock market.
Yeah, and then they, told the Chinese government a year ago, like, hey, we're going to go under unless you support us. And the government was like, nah, we ain't going to do that. So literally, we might have another financial crisis because of that company going under. Which should be kind of funny.
There's so many reasons. Like, China literally controls the entire global economy, which is scary because there's a graphics card shortage, which is why graphics cards cost too much.
Yep.
But then there's also, like, global warming and stuff like that, and people, like, complaining about global warming. And so everyone's mad at China because China is, other than India, the largest exporter of, like, carbon waste globally.
Because they are... like apparently people transitioning from absolute poverty into the industrial age releases absurd amounts of carbon in the
especially
atmosphere.
When there's like 3 billion of you.
Yeah, exactly. And so which is China and India combined, as well as
it's like
other parts of Africa. Well, / all of Africa and
just Madagascar, all of Madagascar.
Just Madagascar. Thank you, Vanilla Beans.
Just Chad. It's just Chad.
In other news,
anyway.
So Florida man eats alligator and dies. I don't know. I'm trying to keep this like last 7-minute segment alive right now.
Just keep it a little alive. Anyway, so people were complaining about China's global footprint or their carbon footprint.
Yeah.
And so China was like, okay, we'll fix that. And so they shut down 2 of the power plants powering the factories that make microchips and microprocessors.
Dude, that's a big move.
Just making another shortage of like any amount of chips.
That's a big move.
Just like, sure, we'll fix that for you, and just like cutting power by like 60% to these factories. I mean, also like millions of residential homes.
Oh yeah, like that's not how you run. Like.
But like they were definitely doing it to like
run.
spite people complaining and like governments complaining about like their carbon footprints. They're like,
oh yeah,
sure, we'll fix that for you, and just flipping the switch for like the rest of the world.
But I mean, like if you don't have food in 10 years, like that would also kind of suck.
Yeah. Because
of global warming destroying.
It would suck to have no food and like no clean water and stuff like that.
Yeah, and like huge tornadoes and the. As we know from history, what caused people to rise up in rebellion the most in China was lack of food. And so I'm assuming that once the environment...
Too bad they were too hungry to really win.
Every time. It was a famine that caused the government to collapse.
Yep.
Because they rebelled.
Yep. Every single time a dynasty split.
It was a famine.
And then the new king would... or the new emperor... would spend his entire reign getting every single, like fighting every war on like 6 fronts just to get all of China back together. And then his grandson would do something stupid and cause a famine.
Yep. And then it would break new dynasty.
And then a new dynasty every single time.
Every single time.
It's funny.
That was your flash into history.
Yeah. We don't have our historian, but you know what? We are historically accurate.
China also made it illegal to play more than an hour of video games every day.
I saw that. And they also
need to log in with your state ID to play video games.
And they made it illegal to play during the week.
Yeah. So, dude, straight up. I mean,
you can't play video games anymore.
Like China's actually struggling deeply with like their citizens having real purpose, which is, and then
which is why they have those
China's
fun
trying
little
to struggle and
those fun little trampolines on the side of all the buildings.
Oh no.
You know, to catch all those people that just want to find meaning and have happiness in their life, so they can have a little fun bouncing.
Or they are devoid of hope because it's pointless to try to climb a ladder their whole life, and so
they get nowhere. Because to make the same amount of money as anyone else around them,
they have to spend their whole life working and getting a little bit and a little bit and a little bit, and then they can finally do something, and it's not really anything. And so they just either don't do anything, or they play video games all day, or they kill themselves.
Oh, it sounds like the Dead generation in Japan in like the 1980s.
Yep. Anyways, that was Our World Sad.
Sorry,
I actually never heard that.
So the Dead generation was, I think, late 80s of Japan, and it was so. Their economy was booming after World War II. Not booming, suffering after World War II.
Yeah.
Because they lost all of their imports for everything. Because it's not like they had oil or steel on their tiny little island.
Yeah.
Not tiny. It's not tiny, but there's nothing.
They don't have
limited
a lot of resources. Yeah.
Like that. There's a reason why they don't use nails in construction. Because they don't have.
Oh, what do they use?
Just wood pegs. Like they cut wood to perfectly fit, and then they put pegs in it so it doesn't move. So every building in Japan has blueprints to show you exactly how to disassemble it and reassemble it somewhere else. So
sick.
Like all the buildings that aren't like steel and glass or whatever can be moved.
That's awesome.
And without breaking anything or losing a piece.
That's so awesome.
It's really cool, and everything fits flush. Like they do really good woodworking because they've spent years honing the craft,
millennia honing the craft.
Anyway, so they had a slight economic boom in the 50s and 60s, just a little bit.
As the U.S. probably poured aid in.
Pouring some aid and stuff like that.
Because that's what we did.
And so it was starting to get better and better. And then in the 70s, their economy just kind of collapsed. I think it was it started in the 70s, it collapsed.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's this whole generation of people who because the economy collapsed, couldn't get good education because no one could afford it.
Yep.
So they couldn't get engineering degrees or computer science or any sort of science degree or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But their economy was kind of in a spot where you couldn't really get a good place to live without making a good chunk of money, and you couldn't get a good chunk of money without having a good degree.
And you couldn't get a good degree
because no one had money, and you couldn't really get loans because their economy was bad. And so there's just this whole generation of people that eventually in the late 80s just got too old to get good jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're on social programs and stuff like that, welfare programs.
Oh my gosh.
Because they're too old now to get educated to do things. But they couldn't get educated then because no one could educate them and no one could afford it.
Oh my gosh.
So there's the Dead generation of just a whole generation for 7 years of just people that just couldn't do anything because they
just got shafted.
Yeah, they got straight shafted
by the economy.
Yep.
Well, anyways, everybody. That was the end segment we just wrapped up.
Where's my mouse? I can't find it.
And thank you guys for being a part of Lake City Variety. It's so great to have you here.
Yeah.
You can check us out anywhere because
we're on. I mean, you're listening to us wherever you're listening to us, but there's also 11 other places you can listen to us,
exactly.
Maybe YouTube. Maybe all of you who listen to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or Stitcher or Audible. We're on Audible.
Also, find somewhere to comment and tell us what the heck you want to be called.
Yeah, because
I think Varietizers is where I'm landing right now.
For our listeners. So is that for our listeners or is that just for our patrons? Patreon.com/Lake City Variety.
Ooh, that's interesting. I mean, Varietizers has to be everybody, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Unless you hate it. Then tell us you hate it.
Then tell us you hate it.
Because I don't want to call you something you hate.
Yeah, or come up with something good that is timeless and not a gimmick.
You calling what I say a gimmick?
No, I'm not saying what you're saying is gimmicky.
Excellent, because it is.
It's like in the same way if we quoted like Raid Shadow Legends stuff right now in like
Raid Shadow Legends.
Well, in like 2 years, no one's gonna get that.
Are you kidding? Raid Shadow Legends is not going away in 2 years.
Oh yeah, it is.
No,
it 100% will be.
It should have went away 2 years ago.
It should have went away like 5 years ago.
Which means it's going to be around for another 2 years at least.
All right. Well, anyway, this has been the episode without Elliot. I don't know.
All right. We'll find a good name for it.
Yeah, or probably just that. Who knows?
It shouldn't be the episode without Elliot.
You're right. Anyway.